Go live. Yay. All right. Let's... Ma petite. Oh, you're live. Oh, shit. We're screwed. Haha. Just kidding.
It's magnificent.
There's an alligator up on screen. So that's what everybody's getting to see right now. So it's the 6 Mile Slough is our thingy-mabobber. And hello, everybody. It is like 10:59 or something, and we're just getting started. We have a special guest today, but if you are currently watching the video, you're seeing a slideshow from the 6 Mile Slough, and I have told it to advance every second. As you can see, it is not advancing at all. So I shall advance it. Why is it doing this? God, that was a fun time. I always enjoyed the slough. But we have with us...
That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. We need to go back. Dragon Dancer, hello. Kayla, hello.
Dragon, Kayla.
Obviously, you're hearing Rookie. And we also have with us Mystic Manny. We will be on video just a second, but Mystic Manny, say hello. We're testing audio.
Hola.
So I just want to make sure everybody can hear all three of us before we hit to the next thing.
Hello. Obviously, hearing Rookie.
Sounds like you can hear it.
Manny. We will be on video just a second. But hold on, I gotta mute my thing.
Yeah. I just did mine too. I was like, oh crap, now we got like quadruplicates. Look, we're not tech people. Like, well, I'm not tech people.
I'm not.
Well, I can do techie stuff, but I think everybody can hear all of us, so that sounds good.
That's cool.
So...
Let's go and Dragon. Oh, what the hell? What is this? Oh,
Scary Spice is mean. This is Rook. Tell me if you can hear me all. Scary Spice is mean.
There's a volume setting on your thing? I'm just kidding. I'll turn it down on my
microphone?
side.
I'll turn it down.
No, I'm turning it down. Don't change yours because now it's going to mess up all of it. This is why we don't go video first.
Yep.
All right. But yeah. So we're really hoping to have a glass of champagne here soon. Rook forgot to put some in the fridge, and the last time he put champagne in the freezer, it exploded. So we'll see if he remembers.
It was magic. Let me set my thing for 20 minutes, and I'll go get it in 20 minutes. How's that?
20 minutes. All right. So let's get our video going so you guys can say hello.
Then we can say hello.
We can say hello for real. For real, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have another guest on the stream for if you can't see it on camera just yet. Hold on.
Oh.
Look at me. Salem.
Oh.
It's Salem.
You're beautiful.
He's like, Dad, what are you doing?
He literally looked like he was just looking up to start talking to you the way, what's his name, Salem does in, whatchamacallit.
Hi, furry.
He had the eye and the face was just about to say, move out of the way so they can see me. I am the guest. I am the guest here.
Camera, baby.
It's like, I am the guest.
Good morning, furry. Welcome, furry.
Yes, so Mystic Manny had a hat, and then I felt naked, so I had to go get a hat, and then Rook went and got a hat, so we all have hats. I know mine came from a medieval fair, Renaissance fair, one of the fairs. But I'm also going to show off my gloves.
Those are cool gloves.
Yeah.
I like the crow heads.
We agreed that the mask might need a trigger warning. So we decided not to do the mask.
I think you should wear it. Do it.
Well,
He's not Bane.
Ziggy, good morning. So
I was born in the darkness, molded by it.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to take these off at some point. But But yeah, so we're going to have a conversation today for our Sunday service. We are unscripted. We didn't look anything up. We don't have any prepared things really, except to have a conversation and share things with anybody who's present. And I see we got quite a few people, and that I appreciate you guys stopping in and saying hi.
Yes.
So, with that, I think we should start off the way we normally do, and this popped in my head. I do like talking about books and stuff because right, books have, whether it's books or YouTube things or new things that we're trying to learn or bring in. That's always a good topic for me. I recently finished, and I think I talked about it last week. The Shay's book. Well, Kayla, yeah, I finished Friedrich Nietzsche and the Left-Hand Path. I have a complaint. I'm going to go ahead and share that complaint, and you can take it back to him for me, please. And that is, I need to make sure you're listening. Because of when and where it was printed, it doesn't have an ISBN yet that I can find, so I can't add it to my Goodreads challenge. And I'm very upset because that's a whole book that I need to get on my Goodreads challenge. So if anybody knows of the ISBN for that book, the book Friedrich Nietzsche and the Left-Hand Path, it is a really good read. I don't want to call it an easy read, but it's an easy read. You can actually understand what's happening. There's lots of explanation. There's lots of discussion. It's a really, really good book, and it doesn't like hyper focus on what people assume. It's very, very well. I love it. I thought it was a great book. It's definitely something that's a little outside of my personal zone, but it was so good. It was so it was definitely worth it. I'm very glad.
If I read it?
Of course not. It's up on the thing. Like I said though, you won't get credit on your Goodreads because it doesn't have an ISBN, and they won't let me add it without the ISBN number. And that's really the only complaint I have, which is funny. It's not even a complaint, so that's the thing. But it is very it's written in a way that I think somebody who's been practicing and knows Nietzsche can probably keep up with it really well, and those that don't know a lot would also still be able to keep up and kind of understand it. I did have to go back and read some passages again because I'm not a nihilist. That's not my thing specifically, but I did really enjoy the book, so I do recommend it for sure. But yeah, Kayla, that's it. I love how the artwork too is just, it's not all over everything. It's just in the right places where it needs to be. It just reads very well, and everything goes together. It's very well done. It's obvious that this wasn't something that was just put together to get a book out. It was truly, that's somebody's heart and soul put into that thing, for sure. Just to answer Dragon Dancer, and then I'll shut up for a minute. The young book that I would recommend is probably Man and His Shadows, or Man and His Symbols, I mean. Because it's got some chapters written by him, some chapters written by his first and second students, and some by some of his long-term friends and family, actually, who also kind of know his process. It's very dream symbol oriented, but it is a great young book to start with. It's the only one, and it's one of his last ones he put together, that's written in lay enough terms that normal people can read through it, pretty much. The rest of it, if you read his other books, it's very... if you read other books by Jung, it's very psychotic to read. But if you read other books about Jung from people who are in his atmosphere, then it's a lot easier to read. But that is definitely going. Man and His Symbols. I've read it, and I'm actually rereading it right now because the first time I read it was probably 15 years ago, and it takes on a whole new meaning as an adult, like a further adult, an adultier adult. Not that you can tell that by the looks today. And I'm shutting up now. I don't know, Manny, if you have anything that you've been doing that's different or new for you that you've really enjoyed, whether it's a book or a YouTube or whatever, or just practice.
So I work a lot, but on my downtime, I've really been communing with nature here. It's similar, but kind of way different at the same time. It's a similar vibe. It's like it's not similar. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's familiar, but it has its own essence. It has its own feelings. Dealing with the the native flora here, you go out and it smells fantastic. It's like, well, the flowers are dying off now, but like a week ago, you could go outside and just I got smacked in the face with like perfume because of all the flowers and stuff that were in bloom and the trees just like pollinating everywhere. And we found some um, interesting things on the trail next to where we live because we live next to the Evergreen State College, and right across from it is a parking lot that is this nature trail, and that leads down to I guess the sound, like the beach where like the river and everything comes up. And part of that path on like off the path, like there was like this huge tree. It was like something out of a movie, and there were runes on it. And I was just like, oh, let's not mess with this tree.
Oh, right.
But it was beautiful, and I did get video and photos of it earlier this year when we had gone. It was still winter. I'm wondering what it looks like now. But that's part of what I've been doing is that we've really been exploring the area, the park, the nature, the wildlife. Just like there's crows everywhere. We're like talking with them, and they're just watching us, and we're like looking for their cues and stuff. It's something else.
I've heard people talk in the past about saying how nature is your classroom, your schoolroom, and I think that's something that a lot of us strive for. And then when you really have the ability to go out and kind of engage it, it's something else. That's awesome. We need to do more of that for sure. Like we're I feel like a lot of times with work and stuff, we're riding on the train and you see nature, but you're not in it, and that's definitely something different. I love it.
It's definitely a lot more comfortable to do it here.
I bet.
It's more pleasant weather-wise. Um, One of my biggest issues in Florida was the weather because I'm a beast and I overheat. So, I enjoyed Florida's nature, but within minutes I would just be like having like a heat stroke. So, whereas here I can be out there for hours. I just have to make sure I'm not in the sun for too long because there's still enough sun here that you can get burnt. Um, we're out of the gray season now because we're out of the like the winter. Um, there was some gray. Don't argue with me. Fun though.
They're like
I
this.
got color. I actually got color recently. Like you could see like on my
Uh-huh.
shoulders and everything where I got sun um, from the tank tops I was wearing downtown. But that's
Tank
something
tops
that you still
downtown.
have
I
to
don't
be
know why
careful.
that sounds funny. I'm sorry.
What
I wear
happened?
I wear tank tops downtown. I don't know why
That
that
needs to be
sounds
a
funny. It's a
t-shirt.
t-shirt. Yes.
Well, it needs to be a tank top. Yeah, tank tops downtown.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was like, wait a minute,
Right.
huh?
But that's pretty much. It's just been delightful here, man. I was really actually trying to figure out like the system of the trees because evergreens are everywhere. That's why it's called the Evergreen State. And I'm really curious on harvesting some of the resin, but I don't know if or when it's going to like come out of the trees yet. Um,
Mm.
because I want to play with it for like incenses, and it's just I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah. That'd be interesting too to see like what the differences are. Cause I've never been to Washington State. I've never been to the West Coast,
Mm.
except for San Diego for a short period of time, and very short. It was 3 days. So we did just a couple of days there, and then the rest in Vegas. But yeah, that sounds. I wanna be able to go different places. I can't say that like I'm like Dragon Dancer. Like you can't wait to get out of the heat. Like I don't like it either. Um, but the one thing that we've been learning a lot is we've been spending a lot of times like motorcycles outside, and bikes and stuff. And when you're moving, it feels okay if you have the right sunscreen. Um,
Mm.
but I really do miss seasons more than anything. Like I miss actual seasons. I am so jealous when fall comes that we are here and you are there. Like,
Fall, but not fucking winter. Fall, yes.
winter is just as important as all the rest.
It's the devil.
What's wrong with the devil? Oh, wait, you can't see it all.
Nothing.
Not today, Jesus.
That's interesting. I'm glad you talked about that, Victor, because that was one of my questions. How is the energy different there, and does it have a different feel to it? So
It's a
glad you.
completely different vibe here. I'm still experiencing the culture shock. Um, with people, with the environment, with traffic. I mean, traffic is similar in some aspects, depending, like rush hour and stuff like that. You get that everywhere. But it's still different. And I've been trying to. This is the second meeting I've missed, and I'm shame on me. There is a pagan meet and greet once a month in the downtown at a local store, and it was actually yesterday, and basically local pagans, and at least in the Olympia area, will basically get together and then they just chit chat about stuff, random, kind of like what we're doing now, and then they talk about any upcoming events, any Sabbats, any Esbats, and whatnot. Anything new that they've found store wise or item wise. This That's pretty much the highlight that I've noticed, that there's a lot of I guess organization when it comes to people trying to meet. And, yeah, there's a lot of community with it. But it's really nice too. Like they're different people. It's just there's really no words for it. It's just it's an experience, really.
Yeah.
Did moving up there, like with the difference, has it affected your practice, your spiritual practice, or modified it in any way, like with different energies or nature or?
So it's definitely modified it, but not because of like the different climate or anything like that. It's because we're still not unpacked. Uh, we have bins everywhere, and we're still missing
Yeah.
furniture.
You
Because
had
we
a.
left a lot of stuff in Florida because we fit everything in this little pod
Oh,
to ship it across the country, knowing we're not going to really have furniture. We only recently got a reclining love seat. Um, we still need bookshelves and like counter space and stuff like that because we're in a small apartment. Um, I have my statues. I don't know if you can see them. They're behind me over here. They're stacked on bins. There's bins, and then I put like a cloth over it, and they're just like, because I had to empty out a bin. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
so you trust your cat a lot?
He broke my Zeus.
Maybe not. Just kidding.
And it's because right behind the curtain is a window, and we keep opening because there's no AC, there's no central AC here. So we just open up the windows and ventilate it, and there's no need for AC, at least this time of the year. And the cats will do what cats do, and they sit at the window and they look out longingly. Well, in the process of doing that, they've knocked down my Merlin. Thank goodness he didn't break, but they knocked down my Zeus and they broke his lightning bolt. And I was just like, we're gonna have issues.
Oh, yeah. We would be fighting.
So I'm not too concerned about it. But it kind of pissed me off.
I bet.
Is it the beautiful cat that we saw earlier?
Yes. Actually, no, I'm not even sure because both of them like to get up. You're not going to see Raiden on camera because he's very timid and shy.
Oh.
So he's the
He
one that
is-
waits until nobody's looking and he goes around and just like bats the crap out of stuff, or is he just clumsy?
No, so he's a bit of a spaz, and what he likes to, he'll run, and he'll knock things over without even thinking twice about it. He's absolutely gorgeous. He's like a white Bengal tiger, but not. He's what's called a lynx tip. What was it? Lynx tip tabby or no? Lynx tip Siamese.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So if you know how Siamese cats are, where they have they're kind of lightish or cream in color, and then they have like either a dark face, dark ears.
That's the
a little
seal
bit of
point.
dark- Right. Well, rather than the brown, it's gray tabby. So he looks like a lemur, with beautiful blue eyes.
Okay, we're
Oh,
gonna have to get pictures at some point then, because I
yeah.
I'll share.
don't know that I had seen that.
But he's like as gorgeous as he is like he's never like around. He's always hiding because he's a spaz.
That's hilarious.
He
I
was
love it.
traumatized down in Florida when we lived with family because of
Mm.
some things that my brother did, and I think he still associates that with me because we're both large. Uh,
Aw.
Oh,
but no, like one thing he does is he'll try to get to bread. He like you know how cats they like the sound of like plastic and stuff, and he'll just gnaw on a loaf of bread and leave it there. It ruins the whole loaf. That is how the cat do.
I don't know why that is so hilarious to me, but that is that is interesting. Like the animals are always, you know, changing stuff anyway. How you do the stuff, how you practice, how you live. I mean, we alter everything because of these guys. Because VG's a little spastic, just a little, and then Nutella's around here somewhere.
Oh
I
my goodness.
think, not to go like totally not off the rafters, but I think Tina's mom is probably a Chihuahua, and her dad is probably a fainting goat.
Oh
Sorry.
my god.
So yesterday, and I never really watched her. Like Finn, the boy, is, you know, he gets aggressive with all of, like, he'll kind of go after him a little bit, and he went after Tina just a little bit, and she went Brat! And then just all feet out and laid over with her feet up. I'm like, oh my god, she's a fainting goat. She did, and she just
No,
rolled over.
no.
And you know, it was funny because, you know, she's chunky too, so it was like feet straight out. So she's rolled over on her back, going like this, boing.
No.
Dead still, dead still. Nutella is half fainting goat.
That's hilarious.
Yes,
she loves Manny.
she does.
Oh, she's my
It's,
favorite.
it's Manny's her BFF.
We're BFF. She just doesn't know it yet. She's in denial.
She just doesn't want anybody to know. But yeah, you know, I will. Florida has definitely changed my practice after coming down here from where I'm originally from in Virginia. It's gotten a lot more robust because where I was from before, we didn't have anybody else. Like we didn't. It was that social aspect down here that flourished and has gotten a lot better, but also created challenges. So, you know, that's what really grew me more than anything. I'm like, I'll be solitary forever. I don't want anybody else involved. I don't want to be around anybody else. Like we came down here and like, yeah, that's not how this is going to go. And universe said, screw you. We're going to put you in the middle of a bunch of people and you're going to have to figure it out. And that's been a challenge, but fun. So I get just the atmosphere change causes new experiences. But down here, it was definitely not the environment. It was people. And now they're all leaving us or have left.
Now they're all leaving us.
So
I'm sorry.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we would do a lot more outside nature things here, I think, if it wasn't so hot. And like somebody said earlier, oppressive heat. It just, ugh.
May I run get champagne real quick? And then I have a couple questions.
I
Go get the bubbly.
suppose go get the bubbly.
Okay.
We would have had it if you didn't forget to get it earlier cooled. Failed.
Oh my goodness.
It's terrible. Uh, but yeah, I mean that was interesting. So like when we came down, like we were we had UU up there, right, in Virginia, Norfolk. That we had a great UU up there that we kind of participated with, but not anything cups related. So we were on our own for that. Came down here and got into the cups immediately, which was awesome. For anybody who doesn't know, that's the Covenant of the Unitarian Universalist Pagan Society.
Mm-hmm.
Society, yeah.
I don't know if society is in it, but they always add an S to it, so I always assumed there was society.
Yeah, state. I don't know. Station. Yeah, society has to be. And so that's been kind of really eye opening to us. So like, if we do move anywhere, that's going to be one of, I think, a new thing for us. That'd be the first thing we'd look for. Just like you were mentioning earlier, you found some groups, maybe not cup specific, but just pagan groups, and it's the same reason why we wanted to do this on Sundays. It was really just a place to have people from all over kind of connect. He's going to hurt himself one day with the champagne. Not lost my train of thought. But anyway, that social group I think is really important. Like you were talking about, you had kind of getting up with some of the meet and greet people, and I'm not going to say anything that I like. I like cups. I enjoy it. I think it's great. It gives some stuff. We're engaged in it, but you need something outside of something organized like that too. It's fun, I think, just to be like meet and greet and just sit out and talk about stuff. So,
Yeah. So
and
that's actually one of the things that I've encountered here because I'm used to cups. The first time I've ever experienced cups was in Florida. And then here, the first thing I was looking for was to see which UU had a cups, and then there was a cups member that was in Florida. Her Jet. She is now in Washington, and she took me it's an hour away. It's a bit of a transit, and it was really nice. But it was a UU service, and it was really nice. But they have a cups chapter there. But I wanted to see if there were any closer ones, and I wasn't really getting much luck with that. But I was finding more community with, like I had mentioned earlier, the like the monthly gatherings. One of the members was actively looking for other people to join something similar to cups, and she as an eclectic, and they would so they can get together as community and do so. It was like cups but not cups.
yeah,
And I was just like, oh, that's actually really neat. Like I didn't even know that people wouldn't want to do that around here. But I still need to check out the UU because there's one that's not far from here. I just don't know. um I don't know anything about it, a UU, and I really should do more investigation just to see what's going on there and if there's anything that can be started there or whatnot.
yeah. Well, I know not to detail it, but in the Fort Myers UU, things have gotten phenomenally better, and not to drag any of that, but there's just there's kind of a newness to it. There are still some hiccups and things like that, of course, but it's interesting. I don't want to say it's like a natural evolution of things, but it kind of seems like it is. Like you start with certain processes. I kind of see why somebody would want UU and cups. Well, cups can't be separate because it is UU, but why those things would be separate. I think I would probably more enjoy a group of pagan people outside of the UU and have those as two completely separate things. Um, Although there are many benefits to it too, it does seem to create additional obstacles to overcome when it comes to people who think even further outside of the norm,
Hmm.
and which is a little surprising because it shouldn't be that way. But you learn and you move and you do better. I guess that's kind of the thing. But I know we have. I think the closest real meetups down here in Florida are probably in Tampa. I get meeting group for Tampa all the time, but nothing down this far for us. So I would think in Washington it's probably a little more common. I don't know if
I
that's
gotta
true or
do some
not.
digging
Or
for that because I only looked locally, but there's areas like there's a pagan pride, and it's in the Tacoma area, which is about 45 minutes north from us. Um, so that's something that that I've considered. Um, and then there's stores just like scattered everywhere, and then they always have like flyers and stuff of any local events and whatnot.
I yeah, I don't know if like just trying to think. I was thinking back when we did UU. I don't think we ever even looked for cups up there. That was just a kind of a UU thing, and their UU was it was so open and just easy in Virginia, at least where we were. It was funny because my high school psychology teacher was the music director at the UU, and I didn't know that until we just went there like 20 years after I'd graduated. Well, maybe not that
Hmm.
long, like 15 years. I was walking, I'm like, that's Miss Fletcher. She's the lady that stood up on the desks and threw people out and made fun of people and she was nuts. But, the kind of psychology teacher nuts in order to show different psych things. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. But, and I don't know, like, I don't want to turn this into a UU discussion, but that is another important piece of it, I think. Um, if you find the right place, and I don't want to call it church. I like the congregation. UU is actually very beneficial to pretty much every pagan group I can think of, um, unless you find one that has specific issues with specific types of pagans, and that has to be addressed. Um, but those things do get addressed. They're hard, but they do. You know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I've always wanted like an actual pagan church, like not a UU, but just a pagan church. But it's funny because if I designed it in my head, it would be like Stonehenge. Like there'd be no roof. I'm like, we're gonna have a temple, but there's no roof. Like then why are we having a temple? Like what's the thing, right? Like, like what would your ideal pagan church look like?
Are
Not,
you asking me?
might as well. I mean, I know what mine looks like. It literally, I love the UU that we have here in Fort Myers, but I would want it to look like one of the old Latin houses. I say Latin houses. Good lord, Roman, like back in like AD 100, where I forgot the name of them, but the houses were all squares, but they were like long halls, and in the middle was a big open area where the rain would fall in. That's where they collect their water and stuff, and it was the atrium. That would be like my ideal place.
I would think of it as a park, kind of like a community park where it has pavilions and all the resources you need to do whatever. Um, and of course, indoor controlled facilities like with VC and whatnot, for like specific needs,
Yes.
be it for education, meetings and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do that outside, but depending on the time of the year and the weather.
Yeah. So like a classroom style area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's weird to think that if you think of a location or like a I don't want to call it a temple either, but like a place to go and spend time with nature as pagans. The most common thing I think you get is we just want a place where we can be outside and gather. But I wouldn't survive without some indoor air conditioning. Finn is outside my door crying. Meh, meh, meh. But yeah, so that's like, oh, nature is my altar. I'm gonna have to let him in. He's getting louder.
I can hear him.
What do you think?
I agree. I like the idea of being a lot of common areas outside, but having climate controlled indoor areas, which to me, speaking of a spiritual place, like for pagans, it's definitely it's definitely different and lovely. But what was the first memory you had, Manny, of magic, or like your first time you remember experiencing something that now you look back and think, oh God, that was like magical or spiritual?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, and for the record, we gave no heads up for any of these things, so that is totally on the spot.
No,
just
we
for,
didn't. I
just
just
for the record.
these questions like literally came to me
and we
last night when I was like in a deep sleep, and I woke up and I was like, okay, I gotta ask this. I gotta
yeah,
ask this.
I told you before, like we don't have any questions. We're not doing this interview style, and then we're like, question.
But it
question,
came to
question,
me, so I have
question.
to ask them.
So the closest thing I had to something magical or spiritual, I'd have to say as a child, had something to do with the Virgin Mary.
Oh.
I had this obsession with the Virgin Mary and building gardens around her. And then years later, when I discovered paganism, I was just like, oh shit, there's a religion that revolves around a goddess. Like, I didn't even know that, because I was raised Roman Catholic. And I just kind of went with it from there. But I always had I was always searching and looking, or like honoring like the divine feminine. That's like honestly, that's the earliest that I can think of. Other than that, like it was around middle school where I started really dabbling a little bit more and exploring some stuff. And of course, I started with Wicca because that was like a thing, and I didn't know much about any other religions because, as far as I knew, you were either Catholic or you were not Catholic. I didn't know. And then that's why I took a lot of religious courses in college, because I wanted to learn a lot more about it. And then as I took more religious courses, then I kind of like left not left, but like I kind of like expanded outside of Wicca, and I became more of an eclectic because I was learning all these traditions and things from like around the world. I was just like, holy shit, this is incredible.
Hey, that's brilliant. That's awesome about the Virgin Mary. I like I like that experience. It sounds it sounds nice. What about you, uh, Mystic? What's
I
your
I know where
first?
you think you're pointing.
It's this
Um,
way. Like he's this way, right? And you're this way. Or does it show it backwards? That's
I think it's
Manny.
different for each of us.
it is different
Oh,
for each of you if you're looking at Discord. The
so
only
if I
way.
just do like this, I'm good, right? But
No, actually, you're still wrong because you should be doing that.
oh, this.
Yeah.
Shit. Um, so let's see. I think the first time I ever thought of like magic actually being real was after leaving. Um, what do you call it? Um, Protestantism or Baptisticism
Southern
and
Baptist, you
Southern
say?
Baptist, yes. Um,
Yes.
Mm.
but I was um, spending time with a bunch of people that friends in school that were pagan, and I kind of did became and worked through Wiccan, but I didn't feel or think anything real magic until probably when I was 16 or 17 when I met my friend Adana, who was somebody who that's the person who taught me initially tarot, like way back when, back in Deep Creek in Chesapeake, Virginia, and that was kind of where that came from. Like I kind of learned a little bit of what was going on with magic and what to do. It was the first time I actually started feeling like I was able to manifest something, and my manifestation was separating the difficulties I was having emotionally with the rest of life. So it was very. It wasn't like a thing or a piece or a place. It was an idea of just I'm able to work through things and actually. Am I boring you, Finn? Um, and just he's yawning like every 3 seconds. Um, but really, that's really what it was. The first magic, and if I remember correctly, it was through music. It was through being in there and just listening to music, and we would hum and chant and just do stuff while she would make candles, and I kind of was helping in the consignment shop that she ran. Um, and I just started thinking like this is how you manifest change. And we talk a lot about magic and mundane and how like our mundane life. That was the first time I started learning there's really no difference between the
Mm-hmm.
two, right? So it's all the same stuff. We can separate it to discuss and to have content and understanding. My mundane life is a little bit different when you look at it from certain perspectives. But I was like, wait a minute, this is all magic. Everything that we do to me is magic. Now, of course, we can define it differently, but that was kind of how my idea went. There was no
I
one
yeah.
moment that I can think of.
I was raised Southern Baptist as well, and the earliest thing I kind of think it's like for magic for me was when I was 3 and 4. I had this imaginary friend Bea,
Oh, I
and
know the story.
I think it really was like a spirit, but I didn't know it at the time. I was just a toddler or a little a little older, and talking to this friend that was there, and then the first thing was like, wow, this is kind of like magic. Other than that was my aunt called me into her closet. She goes, come see, I want you to tell me what you see. And she took me in there, and there was this like white flat folded sheet like stacked up, and it literally, the way the shadows and the indentions in the sheet, it was the face of Jesus. And that was the first time I was like, wow, that's like, okay, it's how I feel now about magical things. So I think it's really cool. So when you said the Virgin Mary, that really was like, okay, that's really cool. But it's kind of like it in every religion. It's magic in everything. I think some people don't want to call it that; they call it other things. But I like your Virgin Mary story, and I like yours too, wherever you are.
Yeah, I know that there's lots of trauma and stuff for a lot of people in many different religions, but we also know in many religions there's a lot of really good people, Catholic,
Oh
Southern
yeah.
Baptist, even all of them. But when it comes down to it, to me, paganism always gave me that I could still search and be a seeker and try to learn and grow, but it took off the pressure. There's so much pressure in Catholicism.
Well, there's a
Cath-
lot of guilt in baptism. A lot of guilt too.
the
Like
same. Like it, there
we live
is,
guilt. Yeah.
but I mean that's the thing. It's like it takes that pressure out. That's what to me. That's what paganism did. Uh, was allow me to continue to be spiritual and believe in something uh, without the pressure.
And they won't admit it, but Southern Baptist women are kitchen witches. I challenge you to find a better cook than a Southern Baptist woman. They are kitchen magicians.
Mm.
Oh, challenge accepted. Here it
Mhm.
comes. So
I'm pretty wicked in the kitchen.
I know you are. That is true. That is true.
It's the
So do
wrong show to say that on, Rook.
I know, right? Um, wrong guest to say that too. So do you follow? If I may ask,
Oh
do
yeah,
you do you work with? Oh, which one's that one?
that one's Raiden. This is what I was telling you about the
Raiden.
Cooper one.
Oh, he's so pretty.
Oh, you're handsome.
He's handsome.
Oh,
Hello to you too.
Okay, bye. Oh, the way he looked at me. He's like, what?
what? Do you like work with any particular pantheons or any paths? Being if you know, some people are eclectic. Is there, if you don't mind answering, are there any certain pantheons or paths you follow and work with?
So traditionally, when I first started, I was like really huge into like Grecian. And then I started like looking at different pantheons from that area, between Roman and Egyptian and Nordic, some Chinese. And that's when I delved into the eclecticism. But the more that I worked with it, the more I realized I had more of a connection with like dragon energy. So my primary focus is dragon. However, my most recent thing has been working with like the spirits and the deities of like my indigenous ancestors, because that's something that like I come from the island. I didn't even realize that was something that I could have tapped into. I didn't know, because on the island, if you weren't Christian, one of the things that they would say is like you were santero or santera for santeria. And I didn't know. I assumed that was the only other thing, less part of it, which is a huge practice, in the Caribbean. But I didn't realize that there was more, at least, further back. Um, and so I did look into more information regarding my indigenous ancestors for the Taino. Um, and I found some books and just their way of like practicing the tree of life, the gods, what they're named after. And it's pretty interesting. But as I mentioned earlier, my primary thing is mostly like dragon energy.
Is there any like dragon energy book or something that if somebody was saying, look, that sounds interesting, I feel like I'm called to that, what would be a good place for them to start?
There's a couple of books like I know one of them is, and it's kind of like 50-50 with a lot of people, and it's like Dragon Dancing with Dragon or Dragon Dancing or something. And there's like a series, and I need to look up what the author is.
It's
But
not.
it's supposed to go over kind of like dragon magic and the things you do and how to honor them, because they them the dragons themselves would be honored as a deity. And then there's also different aspects where people would they don't put them they put them like at the pedestal high, and there's no other deity aside from them, and there's others that like do it completely different. Like I don't do any of that because I work with so many other energies. um but there are books that you can like
Is it DJ Conway? Is that the
I
author of
think
the
it
one?
is.
Because I have two books that were recommended to me that were both DJ Conway. Um,
Yes, that's what it is. It is DJ Conway.
okay.
It's Dancing with Dragons, and then there's Mystical Dragon. And then
So
there's dragon magic, call them the something.
so I can attest those are really good for somebody who doesn't know anything about dragon energy to get a good understanding. So that's awesome. Um, I've never really been personally called to the dragon atmosphere. I've been using atmosphere a lot lately. It's like my new word for things that are like around us. But I have in the last year or so been kind of feeling that pull a lot. So I started with those two books, and it was really helpful. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. What about the other things you were talking about with I don't want to say Santeria, but the going back further of finding your, I guess, heritage
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like, how important is that, do you think, for people to kind of look? Because a lot of times people will look back in their heritage and be like ashamed of it initially, instead of actually maybe trying to learn a little bit about it. Like mine was weird. My people are Pennsylvania Dutch. The Brucheria, they're nuts, but it is
Um,
very cool to learn about.
yeah. Now it's really interesting with what I've discovered, because there's still a lot of like petroglyphs and artifacts and stuff being discovered on the island and caverns and caves and stuff, and how it connected between the islands. Um, I know in Cuba there is a community that lives completely separate from society, and no one is allowed to leave society to go to them. They're like completely cut off from whatever society has. So they live off the land, they have their own practices and stuff. That's not so much the case in Puerto Rico, as far as I know. But on Puerto Rico, there's still like a lot of petroglyphs and a lot of artifacts and stuff that they've found. Um, I think it's important because it's delving further into um, into basically who I am, like through my blood. Um, there's a page that I follow that has to do with the Taino, and then they have resources and media and stuff for people that are wanting to learn more about it. I should probably find it. Um, and It's just been very resourceful. It's been very helpful, in helping me try to. And then this other book that I got was from a local store that was in Southwest Florida, which is unfortunately closing. Um, it was House of Spirits, I think is what it was called. It was where the labyrinth used to be. They had she was she's Hispanic, and she catered a little bit more to like that demographic, and I happened to find that book, and I was just like, I'm buying this book, and I just kind of went with it. Um, I'm learning from it and its connections. It's very actually, and it's really funny because when I was looking into it, it's almost kind of Grecian in the way they do their deities and the spirits and stuff. It's very similar to the Grecian pantheon.
So it might be why you kind of
Of
pulled to
course,
that
it's different.
initially. You think?
Huh?
You think that might be why you pulled Grecian initially? Like that's
It's just weird because I knew nothing about it in the very beginning, and I stumbled upon Grecian, and then I just ran with it. And then years later, I'm learning about my indigenous ancestors, and I'm putting these connections together, and I was just like, well, this is kind of like Grecian. Like they have this one, deity that does this and that. He's the god of thunder, and he does this, and then how he has his people, um, and then how it connects to the agriculture and the way of life, hurricanes, because hurricanes are named after one of the spiritual deities, um, and the Taino culture. Huracan is what they derived that name hurricane from.
that is too
That is
cool.
cool.
Yeah. See,
They're basically a pissed off spirit that
it tears everybody up.
one of the one of the deities got really mad at the main god and would send out hurricanes or huracan to like cause shit because she was pissed.
I
And
like
caused
her.
like destruction and stuff.
Like her already. Yeah, I think uh, it's interesting because like I as I dive back into further back into practices, I realize how similar to you. I think I realize how I've already been predisposed to going a certain direction with
Mhm.
stuff. Like in Pennsylvania Dutch, words are very important. exceptionally important. So, like chants and finding the right words are also important in my practice now. Um, and I mean, they believed in some weird talisman stuff, and certain colors and patterns would change things. And I don't think that it changes my practice, but going back and learning more about my uh, the historical beliefs of my ancestors has really given a lot of color to why I do what I've already been doing, as opposed to actually changing the practice. So do you feel like you actually changed things because of it, or is it just like to me it was almost like coming full circle a little bit more?
I'm kind of like almost ever changing and adapting to things, so it's just kind of normal for me, and it's just based on the environment that I'm like that I put myself in. Um, but as I go and as I learn, I just kind of go with it, really.
Rook, I don't know. Have you done anything specific with your ancestry? I don't know yet.
No, I haven't. I mean, I ran the report. I really need to look into it. So it was partly Britain, and it's weird because I thought it would be more like from Spain. It was a very little bit. So no, that is definitely something I want to look into, though.
Yeah,
I think to make that connection and do that research. I know you had done a lot with yours, the Brucari, and
yeah,
that's something I would like to do and
yeah.
find out when did we go to Baptist from what we used to be,
Mine was
and
easy.
why did we pick
I
that?
mean, mine was definitely easy, right? Because I knew I could with on my dad's side, my paternal line, I can trace back really easily, like literally to like the house in the 1500s. Like I can go. This just was easy. And to kind of see when they first came in and where they first settled in Pennsylvania, and some of the things that they wrote. And I even got to see the last will and testament of 1647 of one of my ancestors, handwritten by him.
Wow, that's
Um,
pretty cool.
Super cool. And he writes in that way that the Bruchetti wrote. So it was, yeah, it was. But then when I read the books and stuff, I'm like, this is gibberish. But if you take out like the specifics of the way they practice, because they really believe in God, like the all powerful, all you have to do is picture
Which
the
one?
all you have to do is picture God the all powerful in the way I do. And I know this sounds silly, but the best way my brain can describe it is the disco ball, right? The disco ball of souls. And it's all of it is still God. Like if I were to pray to the goddess of rivers, because I believe soul is in everything, or I work a lot with, like I said, Cernunnos and Dionysus. I do interact with them as separate entities, but I still do believe that they are one cell of the greater God. Like just like I have skin cells, and I think they're one God aspect of the bigger God. So that's kind of, it was interesting if you look at it that way and then reframe what you learn about your history. It's like holy shit! I just feel like I'm completely separating stuff up here. Like it means something different. That's why I think it's really cool to look at your heritage and to kind of see all those practices, because it's, and that's why I say it's like coming full circle versus like changing practice, because it's like you're already doing a lot of those things. Like holy crap, that's why I do that.
Hmm.
Because it's programmed. It's like kind of in there already, and it's been there for hundreds of years.
Like
So
genetic memory.
yeah, I definitely love that. Um, um, yeah, I kind of think that the same way. I just was catching up on the uh, the
Are we
chat real
chatting?
quick. Yeah, so talking about the left hand path a lot, right? So I've never considered myself left hand path, but I will say a lot of left hand path ideals make sense to me. And when you look at the different, the demons and the Goetia, and all the different things that you look at, there are so many similarities in some of that stuff. With the difference being, you're not seeking, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not left hand path, so I don't want to speak for anybody else, but it's kind of like that whole my seeking is my seeking. I'm not looking for somebody else to fulfill my role. And I mean, that speaks to me pretty hardcore. I'm not looking for Carnunos to make me whole or to bring me the energy. I'm looking for Carnunos to show me how to make my energy match to get the thing or do the thing that I want. I think that is very left hand path, right? I would assume from what I know and from talking to people in the left hand path, because obviously I've engaged a lot of those people in the last year. Um, that's kind of the whole. I don't even want to say the phrase because it's practically trademarked at this point with lots of negative connotation, but you don't reach outside yourself to become something, right? You reach to the energies to learn something so that you can become it on your own, and that's the big difference between my practice now and my practice when I was 16 in Wicca. When I was 16 in Wicca, it was I needed Hecate to give me the strength. I needed Carnunos to give me the masculinity that I was lacking. Um, that whole trying not to be gay thing. But now it's kind of like Carnunos, I fucked something up. I need you to show me if you can why my horn was on the wrong side of the road there. Oh, okay, I see it. Now I have to go fix that because I'm the one that's in control of that change or that move. And that is, I think, very left hand path. And I think that's why that also speaks and fits in with a lot of all this. It's also, well, I don't want to go down that road, but that's also a lot of why I think we had issues in UU, but we won't go there. Hmm.
So, Mystic Manny, and you can tell me to shut up, but I just wondered, do you practice at times or ever with your spouse or another person, a friend, or do you pretty much just practice on your own?
I mainly practice on my own. I can't keep him like to focus for the life of me. Uh,
I understand. Talking about
there
me.
are some times where, especially when I moved here, we got some candles and they came with like these little incantations and stuff that we were able to light and work on. And we've done some things occasionally together. He's been really supportive of everything that I do, and he's kind of always really had my back. So if anything, he's just been there being supportive. But most of the time, I'm doing something like solitary. And oftentimes I'll probably Salem's like right next to me. Like, what are you doing? Why am I not
Yeah.
invited?
Oh,
So other
I
than
love
that,
that. Why am I not invited?
he's inquisitive little thing. And he wasn't always like that. It's because I saved his life a couple of times, and it got to the point where I did help him at the when I was working at the animal hospital. I was the one that was rolling his vein and putting in the catheter and helping him. And then after that point, he was just like, "Papa," and now he just checks me out every time I'm doing something. And I've noticed he just is like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Can I do it? Can I magic with you?"
oh,
That is too
that's
cute.
awesome. That's a pretty that's a strong connection.
And now my my spouse he has his own little area and he does his own things, of course. And I don't go and do anything or touch anything, but he will come to me for like advice or whatever, and we just kind of like brainstorm. But other than that, that's pretty much as far as we go with it.
I think that's a neat balance because, Rook and I practice a lot of certain things together, more of discussion than anything, but our paths are very, very different. We do have that whole idea bouncing thing, but um, we even interpret the same like Gorse lessons in the Druidcraft stuff classes completely differently. Um, and I'm glad because that helps me if I listen to his version and vice versa, right? Like it's almost a learning experience, but it just has something. It has a different benefit to both of us. I don't think I would like if we both practiced exactly the same. Like that would, I think that would be boring. I mean, seriously, like it's nice to have that complimentary kind of bounce off thing when you need it, and leave me to my being for the rest of it. So
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like the differences with it and like the different approaches. It definitely feels a lot more natural. Like I'm not opposed to like if we practice the same exact thing, and then it could make things easier. It could make things more complicated. It just really depends. But at the same time, I like the differences because it's like we can bounce things off of each other. We do our own thing. We're not like on each other's back. Fine, I'll stick with 31. Yeah, he's more Gnostic. He's easy to approach with things.
Yeah. Oh, is there anything else in your little notebook, Rook?
Yes.
Because we're
But one
getting
more.
we're getting
These
close to
came to me.
we're getting
Okay,
close to tarot time. I'm just saying. I
I
know you might have some
understand.
things. And actually, no, hold off. You don't get any more questions right now. Um, Mystic Manny, is there anything on your mind or anything that you've been thinking of to give you some time to talk about anything that's really interesting to you, that you wanted to bring up before he goes on his little tirade with his little
It's not a.
questions?
It's not a tirade. It's just.
Not, I mean,
Kidding.
not really. I'm kind of an open book when it comes to this stuff. So I'm just here for the ride. I didn't really think or plan anything other than
Same.
just try to make sure I answer to the best of my ability, and not get sassed by cats.
Only right now we're getting sassed by his chihuahuas. So
Chihuahuas.
I told you had to bring Nutella on the show. Rook.
I
Yeah,
did. I showed her
you
earlier.
did.
She's right
Oh,
here.
was I gone?
There she be. Hello, my BFF. Oh my lord, those eyes.
She is half fainting goat, y'all. I'm just saying.
Look what it is, Nutella.
Daddy was a fainting goat. Like if
Aw.
he were to turn her over right now, all the legs would just be like,
I love you.
oh, he's so serious.
She is. She
We
always looks very concerned, like a Karen.
we still want to get her a little leather vest and a little helmet because she's a badass chick.
Look, there's your buddy. You miss him? Yeah, she misses you. See,
She's looking right in that camera, right in that screen. And she's like, oh hell
He's
no.
like, oh no, he's back.
but like
I thought he was gone. She manifested some magic and now he's back.
Tina.
Oh man. Okay. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. I didn't see it earlier, so.
Yeah. So the last question that came to me was just that: do either of you believe in aliens and aliens as physical beings, or is it something that, like we do the gods, use descriptive words or ideas to describe things that happen that we can't explain?
Yes, and I also believe they lock their doors when they pass our planet.
I believe that for sure.
Yeah,
Oh.
I am a firm believer in extraterrestrials. There's no way that we are alone. I feel that there's a lot of influence in old culture that is extraterrestrial,
Mhm.
especially it's not like that's like that one show. It's like you watch at midnight. It's just like, but really, did they build this pyramid? And it's like upside down, and there's like this random animal. It's like what? Um, but I really do feel like there was like a lot of influence of like maybe exploration. But there's no way that we're alone, and then I don't think they're anything like us. They're probably different, or maybe they're us in a separate dimension, something completely like outrageous, and we haven't met that level of, um, I guess, technological advancement for them to want to. And then I know a lot of people are probably afraid of them because look what we do to other people on our
Mm.
own planet when we discover and we take over things. And so I know a lot of people are probably afraid, like, oh, if we make contact, they're going to probably do the same to us and we'll be considered obsolete or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm. I like that.
Do you believe in aliens, Mystic
I
Salann, Batawan?
don't make fun of my name, bitch. I will
I'm
cut
not
you
making
later.
fun of it. I'm saying it. Can I not speak your name? Am I not worthy?
You are not, sir.
Okay.
I definitely believe in extraterrestrials and aliens, no doubt. I same thing. I give the same response anytime somebody asks. Like, there's no way. If we think we're alone, then we are truly the selfish asshole humans we think we are, because there is zero chance that we are the only version of this. Um, I do believe three or four different things kind of are existing at the same time. I definitely believe in the multi-dimensional theories where there are other versions of us that maybe even look similar to us but not quite, because they've adapted differently. But when it's just like aliens, like the way people think of aliens, I actually think we're related. Like I do believe it's kind of like Galapagos Islands, right? It's one bird got left behind. Well, two birds because you need two. Two birds got left behind, and they couldn't get off the island, so they made their own version of the finch, right? And then the two lizards that stayed there, we were the ones left behind. So I don't know if I don't see aliens as gods. I definitely don't see that. I kind of feel like there are aliens not related to us, the same way animals aren't related to us. So absolutely kind of a similar like environment thing. But I do believe there are aliens out there in another planet somewhere in the same time space as us, that we're related to, and that they screwed life up so bad that they had to find somewhere else, and they sent their little space pod or whatever works for you out in those 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 whatever 100 if you like that show, pretty good show, the 100. Land, and they repopulate and they regrow after in this new land, and that created us, which is quite different. That's kind of how I feel. Like I think there are definitely some aliens out there that are way more advanced than us. I also think there are aliens out there that are related to us. I also think there are aliens out there that are sub to us. I think they're all probabilities, not possibilities. Because there's just no way this is it. There's just It's the same thing, I guess, with God, goddess, and whether I'm right about one God, 10 gods, 10 million gods, because I'm pantheistic. It's really not going to matter, and that's why I don't worry about like the whole life and death thing, because it's not going to matter. When it's over, it will go to the next thing, and I do believe there is a next thing, without question. So there has to be more. And if there's not more, then I'm not going to really be worried about it, am I?
Well, you won't know.
Yeah. That's what Betty White said too when you asked her. It's like, well, it won't matter when I'm gone, will it? Because I won't know. But I do think it's beautiful to believe. And if I had to pick one, I would pick to believe. And then if I was wrong, it'd be like, meh, sad. But then again, it wouldn't matter. But yes, what about you?
I do. I mean, I believe in. I do believe in them.
I believe I can
I
fly.
really need to learn more because I kind of feel like, what if they were, um, obviously a civilization, but they had their own set of gods, goddesses, and belief systems, which I think they would. Um, but I agree with Mystic Manny. I think they lock their doors and don't want anything to do with us, either because they see how we treat other species, including other humans.
So you
And
believe in one day? Like, what if there's like 10 days?
oh, absolutely. I think there could be.
They all lock their doors, don't get me wrong.
They all
They
lock
all
the door.
lock their
They all lock
doors.
their doors. And two, maybe they're too far advanced that they like literally we can't communicate with them. We're not on that level.
I really think of it sometimes as, been there, done that. They'll get over it eventually. Like, I don't think we're going to ruin the planet either. I think Mother Earth is going to freaking do a full reset before we have time to fuck it up.
I think she'll get rid of us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ants are going to be shaking off the earth, and we're the ants.
Yeah.
We will be reduced, and then she
We're
will
kind of
recover.
parasitic in that aspect because we're the one that's causing an infection and a fever to
Yeah.
the planet, and the Earth is
Literally.
just going to do what it's going to do, and it's just like, oh, we have to save the Earth. The Earth is going to be fine. The Earth is going to be recovered. We're the ones that are screwed.
We're screwed. That's interesting that you put it that way, because you know what? Like, global warming is the fever, and the fevers occur because of inflammation and irritation, which causes the cytokine storms and all the things that come out, and prostaglandins that come to your body, which causes pain, volcanoes, weather. Blah. So that's a really, I never thought of it that way. That is a really, really good way to look at it. That makes a lot of sense. I am very angry as a nurse that I did not think of that.
How selfish we are. Let's save the planet. Let's save the planet. The planet's going to be fine. It's us that's screwed. It's like
We need to save ourselves if we want to do anything.
We're caught in 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then another thing I like to add, on the topic of extraterrestrials, is that there's all these deities and cultures and stuff like that. I really like to think, and I've mentioned this before in the past at some point, that um, we're the universe experiencing itself.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there's something that describes that. I just don't know what the word is. Um, but realistically, no matter how many other extraterrestrials there are around, um, ourselves included, to them, that we are the universe experiencing itself because we are tiny cells, part of a greater organism.
How the
Yep.
universe self-actualizes.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
Interesting.
exactly. I mean, it's the same idea when I, earlier mentioning about I feel like all of the pantheist gods that I believe in and goddesses are all cells of the greater God organism. It makes sense to me. Rook, I think I cut you off. I apologize. I try not to do that too much, but if I did, I hope you did get your whole thought out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, that was it. I did. I just want to say that
It's probably German, yes.
we all miss you so much, and we're glad to see you happy. But we all miss you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, y'all too. I'm glad you have me here. It's good to actually. I mean, I see you on your streams, but I see me next to you on the stream, and it's like we're in the living room shooting the shit again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like always, we are going, I swear to God.
We are going
Yes,
to
and gods
visit.
and goddesses. Well, that too. That's not where I was going. Shut up. Just kidding. I do swear that we are going to figure out how to get our camera set up, and we're changing the table in our main room so that we can have like multiple people over because we've been about this before. I don't care if people come on and just don't say a word the entire time. I'd like to get as many people possible kind of just present. And if they're not local, then they can be present on Discord. And if they are local, they can physically come over or be present on Discord. I just can't figure out how to do that yet. Like with us on the same camera in the main room. Like I don't know how to do it. But I will try to figure it out at some point. I literally think like I'm picturing now like getting like a little stand, like the little stickman where you put like pictures on it, like with a clip, and then clip in like an iPad to the top of it, and everybody's like you're like a digital iPad head. That would be freaking hilarious. I'm sorry, but yeah. So always welcome. Like even if there's no significant, if you want to hop on and you're available, we will do this.
Sweet.
Um,
It'll take some playing around, but you'll figure it out.
yeah, it's really about like how do I get people's likeness on the stream with the audio in a way that can be heard while we're present in the room. So it's almost like you have to have a bot like sitting over here. Like that might be what we do. Like literally, I might have that might work. I might do that. But anyway, I think that is it for that part. Unless there's anything else written in your notebook, Rook.
Let's see.
Quoth the raven nevermore.
He's looking.
I know.
Oh yeah. One other thing. Any solstice plans?
Oh yeah.
Oh, me? No. I
Yeah.
don't have any plans other than probably doing something myself. I'm sure if I probably reach out to the pagan gathering or whatever, that they'll probably have something. I got their card. One of the members gave me their card. I'll probably see where that goes. But if not, I'll probably just be, doing my own thing here.
That's so cool. There's a group there too. Like when you would choose or want to that you could like
Mhm.
engage. That's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, she was handing out business cards. I was just like, oh,
She is
See,
no joke.
we're getting business cards. We put that to we're manifesting those.
yes.
Um,
Uh,
so we are going to move to tarot.
a rat.
We should say
Look
that
at
too,
Pride
right?
Month.
We should have mentioned that. Like it is Pride Month, right? That's
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
for sure.
Right.
Right. Oh,
The
I
Um,
done
Right.
hurt my neck turning. Ooh.
Yeah.
Happy Pride.
Oh,
Happy Pride, armed equality, defend
Oh,
equality.
upside down. It was upside down.
That is so pretty. You know, I love
beautiful.
that. That is the exact same background that I have on my
Oh,
my
that's
spider that I play all
beautiful.
the time. And Brad, we have the updated that. I don't give a shit what people say. I think that the trans flag or I don't know what they call it. What do they call that flag when they've updated it with the colors and added all the stuff? It's so pretty to me. I don't know why people are so angry over updating the flag to be more inclusive. That just drives me nuts. But anyway,
It was supposed to be. I thought it was like the progressive.
there's a name for it. I can't remember what it is though.
Yeah.
Like it has all of them in, but it's so pretty. But yes, we are going to do readings, and I'm already seeing.
Oh, they're already piling in.
Oh yeah, look! Before I even fully said it, Kayla, please. Kayla, I'm assuming that means you want to read. Ooh, gotta make a list. Y'all writing too fast.
They're
Dragon, Furry, Ziggy, Krista. You will automatically get a general unless you say your question when you put your name in the hat to be read, because we can't be here until 4 o'clock. We can go ride motorcycles in a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like what? Like what time is it for you? Like 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m.?
Oh my gosh,
Jesus.
you're so early. Thank you even more for doing this.
It's lunchtime.
Thank you even more.
So far,
Kayla,
yep. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna step away real quick and come back.
Okay, yeah, and refill my drink. Thanks.
Sure, sure.
Oh.
Uh huh. Look at that hair. Her face, I swear.
She's like, Jesus Christ.
So far, we have Kayla, Dragon Dancer, Furry Rage, which I don't know why, but I love that name. Ziggy, Krista, Kelvin. That is what we have so far. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. We are going to get going here soon. As soon as Rook gets us a refill. I've got my we call our chihuahuas now our batteries. So if anybody ever hears us say we've got our batteries, that's what we're talking about. Because just spending a few minutes with these guys in your lap is like recharging. So I have 2 batteries with me. Nutella's like 4 batteries because she's just special. She's so calm. Like that dog is so calm. Like I'm not kidding. Finn like went after her and she just went mad and rolled over with her feet up. He looked at her like, okay, bye, you're crazy, lady. Oh my goodness.
I'll show this when Rook gets back on the topic of extraterrestrials, because this is one of my favorite decks.
Love it. Yes. I wonder if there's a good, like, I don't know of. I do have a Martian tarot, but it's funny. You know what I mean? It's like it's caricature like.
Or...
It's just called the Martian tarot, I think. But it's silly. Yeah, it's not serious, and I don't use it very much. I'm just wondering, like, that's something I think I'm gonna look up when we're done here. I want to see if there's any good, like, extraterrestrial style. I do have a really cool quantum tarot that's really neat. Furry Rage, no offense, but Squeaky Silence would have been amazing. I'm just saying. So I actually was, since we're, it's June, and I was trying to pick between 2 decks. I thought I have the St. Jinx Arcana. But I have the Triple X version, so that's not going to happen. Because it is Triple X. So,
oh dear.
Yes. So instead, I decided today to use the Divine Masculine Tarot.
Oh?
I love this deck. I have 2 copies of it. Actually, one of them is my my shadow deck that I use for shadow work specifically. So I have that one back. Sorry, I paused because somebody mentioned the Beyond Lemuria deck. So I want to, yeah, I want to write that down and check that out. Oh, you know what the other one I have that's relatively ET related? The Cosmic Cunt.
The what?
Yes, it is very cool. The Cosmic Cunt. It also is silly. Obviously, it's got like the a little bit of extraterrestrial-ish and in it, but it is all about feminine power. It is a really really cool deck. Like I love it. Cosmic Cunt.
That's amazing. Oh, Lynn is leaving us. Bye, Lynn.
Island.
I agree with Kayla. You can never have enough decks. I collect them like Pokemon.
You and me both. I literally want to just and I haven't really told Brad this, but I'm gonna probably oh hey. I'm probably gonna do it. Like this back I love this backdrop, but I do need to change it at some point. I'm literally thinking about building a wall all the way up to the ceiling and just have it all tarot.
Gonna be like the library from Beauty and the Beast, but it's all tarot.
Well, you know, I made a mistake and I stopped counting at 350 decks because I have a spreadsheet with all of them, so I kind of just gave up.
Oh,
And I don't even have every deck that like, you know, there's thousands and thousands of decks. But the coolest decks I've ever gotten from or ever gotten are from like makeplayingcards.com and all the like the people or people will upload them, but like I literally bought one that has like 13 sales and it is freaking amazing. Like I can't believe this isn't a mass produced deck. So, and I think I have thing it's called Shadow Myths and Legends. And you left your door open, didn't you?
All decks are unique. Yes,
You-
let me shut it.
Because I can hear myself coming back through your speakers. Maybe I just need to not talk so much. Good lord, he scares me.
same.
Now I forgot what I was talking about. I literally lost my train of thought. My train derailed.
Oh no.
I'm not sure it was ever on the tracks either. Oh well, it's gone.
It'll come back next week.
It'll come back. It shall return. God, that drives me nuts. I do want to paint this room though, and like build the tarot thing. I was talking about not having every tarot deck. I don't know. Anyway, all right, it's gone. Let's do tarot. Kayla, I think you wanted a tarot read based on what you said. Oh yeah, Rook, Angelarium.
Looky.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy seeing these cards.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
And I'm
And then
pulling
the
from
back
this one.
has the back of the deck.
That is so pretty.
That is
Yeah,
really
Gay Tarot.
Gay Tarot in honor of Pride.
I have Gay Tarot somewhere.
I like I said, I did choose the Divine Masculine. I do have the Saint Jinx Arcana, but that's for in-person reads. Judging by how I'm holding the box,
Oh, I think that's a good one.
it is.
All kind of different manner of things in there.
You're an idiot.
Are you pulling from that one today? You should.
I am not because I
Or
think
let me
we
borrow it in 30 minutes.
we would really. Okay, because I'm gonna be on a motorcycle and when we're done with this. Anyway, Kayla is up first.
Kayla!
I agree, Krista. The Angelarium deck literally it's one of the most amazing decks because like you can take all information off of it. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. But you can take all the information off of that deck and you would still get it, right? You'd still figure it out with just a few seconds and minutes looking at the card. What I was saying is earlier, I have 3 decks. They're all called Shadow Myths and Legends off of one of those make playing cards. And the guy designed them for Dungeons and Dragons. But he's like, after I made them, I realized you can use them as Oracle cards. And so he made them as Oracle cards too. So you can buy them either way. They're freaking insanely gorgeous and crazy and dark and bright. It's just amazing. I have to share those sometime soon. Anyway, that's what I was thinking.
Kitty meow.
Kitty meow.
I do this little face.
Camera's right there. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I can.
Yes, we can see our face.
Are you okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, there's no room here.
Here, come back here.
I went to back up and the cat flipped out.
All right. So anyway, let's get started. We're going to start with Kayla. We're each going to pull a card. Who wants to go first? I'll start with Kayla. All right. Let's see what we got here. A little connection. Let me do a few shuffles. We're going to get a chi charge. Chi charge. All right, Kayla. Let's see what's the universe been saying from
You got? Oh,
the divine masculine.
here you go. You already forgive me. No, baby.
Holy, these cards, by the way. When I tell you divine masculine, the cards themselves are just freaking gorgeous. Like I can't even. But this is your first card. This is the Knight of Wands. Hopefully it's getting connected there or getting in the camera. So the Knight of Wands, so the way I read court cards is generally represent people. There is something in what's going on with you right now that has recently, so maybe not currently, but recently been hasty, and a very ambitious plan, usually travel. So it does represent that there is a lot of movement, a lot of action, a lot of travel going on. It does seem with the Knight that this is probably something that's completed for the most part, but now you're going to be traveling in a different way. You're going to be traveling in creation, and you're going to be creating differently than you have in the past. So this might be a new type of artwork. This might be a new career in some cases. That'll depend on the other cards. But this definitely represents an internal action travel, not like travel of like going to Ireland, like we were talking about earlier. This is travel in your mind into new creations, into new processes of how you do what you do. So I don't know. These cards are just freaking amazing to me. You can see why I chose these to do my shadow work with the tarot, because you can't look at them and not get a reaction out of them. So they're just beautiful cards. This probably is my favorite deck if I had to pick one deck of all, second to the steampunk only. But there you go.
Who's next?
Doesn't matter. Do you want to go or? You want...
Manny.
Oh, she's pretty.
You got Materiel, the Angel of the Rain, and the message with this card is essentially you have to allow the energy or whatever it is that you're working with or doing, you have to allow it to flow to get to the next step. So let the rain come down on you, let it wash off anything, but also pay mind to the path of the water and just follow it and go with it, okay? And you basically want to pay attention to where it goes. That will guide you to the next step of your situation.
That is so pretty. Like I'm
It's
trying to see,
beautiful.
is that a face or is it a mask?
It is. I can't even see it. Good lord.
That is the colors.
Oh,
I love it. Like that's even better.
There's
scepter.
like water coming down. That's where the rain's coming from. It's coming down from the. From up there.
That is so pretty.
Just like pouring down.
All right, for you, I pulled the Youth of Pentacles. Why don't you come up and see me sometime? Oh. so what this is telling me, it's related to work. Do not discount if someone's coming to you with a project, wants to feature you, and it might be somebody that is not well known. Let's say what I'm getting from this. Don't turn it down. The youth, they have new perspectives and new innovative ways to further your work. So be on the lookout for an opportunity this week that you might think, that's not really going to be beneficial to me. I'm like above that, or whatever the case may be. Consider it before you turn it down because it might offer you a new exposure and benefits
Ooh,
of youth.
I like it.
Oh.
Are you all right? You're definitely cut off, that's for sure. All right, Kayla, I hope that gave you some interesting information. Interesting to have the court cards on the tarot you had there, and then this definitely has an interesting ring to it. I like that. Actually like that tarot deck. I've never used it before.
Which one?
The gay tarot.
Oh, I like it too.
I don't like you.
It's got very vivid artistry. It speaks to me.
Oh, what does it say? No, shit. I bet. I'm kidding. All right, so hopefully that gave you something. I throw a little stall in there because there's such a delay in our video audio and with everything on Discord right now. So just wanted to give a little bit of time to respond. But Dragon Dancer, you are up next.
Dragon.
The Dragon Dancer.
Dancer with the dragons. Dancer, not for money, but experience. Oh, Tina Turner.
Tiny Dancer.
I can't take all these people dying. It started with.
We're getting old, honey.
I know.
We're getting old. Started with who?
Why the hell am I so blurry?
Naomi. I'm just telling you, like, nothing will happen to Stevie Nicks or Cher, but should it ever?
Well,
I'm
Stevie's
just-
a witch. She ain't going nowhere.
Stevie's a witch. She will be reincarnated.
She will transform, but she'll be right back. Stevie Nicks at the end is gonna be like, after these messages, I'll be right back, and she'll just be right back. That's just how it's gonna be.
Oh.
Oh. I don't know. Betty White was one, but when Dolly Parton goes, I will probably be
God.
devastated.
She's a goddess.
Mercy. Dragon Dancer.
Okay,
Get
dragon.
back on track. I gotta connect
Back on
again.
track.
What does the universe have for Dragon Dancer today? All right, let's see. All right, so this is apparently going to be a Wands pool day for me. So we have the 10 of Wands. Get a little closer here. So the 10 of Wands has actually come up in a couple of other readings for me too, and it's, if you see here, this young man has picked up this bundle of sticks, and it is way too much. Thank you for a rage. Squeaky squirrel. What was it? Squeaky squirrel was the other one? So he's carrying this huge thing on his back, this bundle of sticks, and he's barely making it up. He's overstressed, so it's an overburdened. You're overextending in some way, shape, or form. This, I think, came up again before on a previous read a couple weeks ago. But this particular card, we talk about the cycles 1 through 10, the aces through the tens, and the 10 is kind of like the end of the cycle. And this is a cycle of wands, a cycle of fire, where you're kind of feeling a bit overburdened. You've got too much on the plate. You may get to the point where you can't do anymore, and that's kind of something you got to pay attention to. It can represent some overly aggressive partaking in things. Not aggressive as in fighting or hurting people, but taking on too many things aggressively without giving them time. But mostly this is an overburdened card. You've picked up to weight more. Well, rephrase. You can carry what you've picked up, but you are unnecessarily stressing yourself out with the amount that you're carrying. You don't need to carry that much. You can ask for help. Other people can carry with you. But right now, if you don't unburden yourself a little bit, you're going to find yourself reverting back to a couple cards back, the 7s or 8s, going through some adjustments and having to redo some things. So maybe you need to look at what you're carrying and kind of pick off a few things that aren't necessary to that.
I got Zedkiel, Angel of Mercy.
Oh, God, those colors are. Ugh.
So this card is basically a reminder. You need to be open with yourself, like with your failings. You're basically your own worst critic. But you have to also remind yourself to be kind to yourself, and you need to embrace that, because with that comes the next step in whatever it is that you're working. Is it focusing okay? There we go.
It is. I can't like the golds and the greens. Those are two of my favorite colors together. Like that's so pretty, and it fits very well. I think with the tin, right? This whole overburdening yourself. You gotta give yourself a break.
Yeah, basically work with it. You have to be honest with yourself. You need to open and accept it. You are your own worst critic. Um, but you have to be kind with yourself in regards to that. Don't like let it get to you. Don't let it overwhelm you, or don't beat yourself up.
To me, this literally means the person in your life with the sage name, Sage of Swords, is going to offer you some very old world, and sound advice this week about a situation, and pay attention because it's of an older nature. It comes from an experience from a past life, and you're going to need to pay attention.
Pretty.
The person with the same name as the card, literally.
Hey, that's a. Hopefully, gives you a little bit of insight. Um, flower-handed lady, Heather, dragon dancer. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of input. If you have a, I don't know, those cards are just so pretty. They come. This is. Up next, Furry Rage.
I love that name.
Squeaky Silence. I said Squeaky Squirrel earlier, didn't I? I'm so sorry. I like it. Give yourself a little mercy. Yeah, that's the thing. Furry Rage. Let's see.
Have mercy on me. You treat me so bad. I'm in misery.
Good. Now let's get some cards for. Brad, you want to go first this time, or Manny? You
Furry
go first?
Rage. Okay, let's. Oh wait, hold on.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I'll still go first.
Hold on.
I want to hog all the limelight, you know.
I certainly don't mind.
Good.
When I feel I've pulled the correct card.
I have 2 chihuahuas on my lap.
I have none. Yes, Krista. The Judds.
The Judd.
Mm.
I got my card.
Okay, go ahead.
Angel of Mysteries, Raziel. So it's basically going into the unknown, hence the word mysteries, and discovering. So don't, what's the word I'm looking for? You basically don't want to be down on yourself for not knowing or understanding something, because you're still working on said mysteries. It's a process. Be patient with yourself. And move forward with it continually, because that's something that you're continually working on. So it's not instant. You have to give yourself time in order to go forward with it. But in time, you'll be able to understand more. You're not going to understand everything. You're just going to understand more, and that's just basically part of the path. Okay? Can you even see it? Okay.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
just
it's
if
beautiful.
you angle it just the top back a little, yeah. That way you
It's
don't
like there's
gets.
auras. The little
Yeah,
reflection looks like auras.
that is. Oh, I love these cards. They're so great. Just I don't
Those are
know
beautiful.
whoever picked the colors in them and the burnt. That is the best, most amazing mix of colors. Like I don't know, it gets me.
All right. Sorry, I know you're waiting. I got 7 of Cups. This is going to be from an experience for a very almost spiritual, like emotional fulfillment this week, whether it's from reading, whether it's from experiencing, going outside, watching YouTube, reading online, whatever way it is that the knowledge is going to come to you about a situation, it's going to be very, very, very fulfilling on a very high level emotionally this week. So it's going to be something you gain or pull from learning about something, however that comes. Pay attention to the lessons this week. 7 of Cups.
Very interesting because I pulled the sun for you, sir.
That looks like an alien.
It really does, doesn't it?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of this mix of current and old. Um,
Okay.
this sun is all about the outburst, the outgoing, the outside, the push out, the magnanimous things in life, the successes, the joys, the funs. Sun is an amazing card because it really speaks to an outcome of contentment, of satisfaction. And I think it goes pretty well with your other cards because it's almost like you're in a seek mode, right? It sounds like from hearing the other cards. Like you're in a seek mode into the mysteries. You're in a seek mode. I can't talk today. Into this learning or new process or something that's going on with you, and it's going to give you lots of contentment, success, and positive feelings because it's going to give you like a new direction to whatever it is that you're kind of looking for. I think the sun generally comes up for me when people maybe have a little teeny bit of self doubt, not truly sure they're doing exactly what they want to do, but then knowing that the universe is saying, yes, you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, because you're going to end up with the sunflower. The sunflower is the 8 foot tall, 10 foot tall head of the sunflower that kind of seeks around with the sun as it turns. They actually move to follow where the sun is, right? And that's what the sun represents, is that success. So there's definitely a positive direction to your seekingness, your soughtness, it's positive. It's good. Whatever whatever process you're going through right now, with you continue taking that through. That's the thing.
Seek mode.
Seek mode.
Cool. They confirmed.
Seek mode. Thank you.
Ziggy.
Yes, thank you for letting us read you guys so far, Furry. Thank you for that, and Dragon and Kayla. But we are now going to Miss Ziggy, can't you see? I know, right?
Witchiness just hypnotized me.
And I just love your flashy ways. Ooh, I like that, witchy ways.
This is why they're magical and they're mundane. Guess why she's magical? They're mundane.
Yeah, okay, good. You'll be alright. Mercy on my soul. Mercy. They begging me for mercy, mercy. Sorry. All right. Whoever pulls the card when they're ready first will go first for Ziggy. How about that?
Just Ziggy.
If you have your card, you just start with it.
I love Ziggy.
Who doesn't?
Boop. Let's check some more play.
All right, so I pulled the Knight of Wands again, Ziggy.
Ooh, you're really pulling them ones.
Mm-hmm. I've been pulling lots of wands.
Wands.
So again, we're talking about this.
Ooh.
I think the same kind of energy, but a little bit different insofar as this is that travel thing, that adventure of new thing, that adventure of new processes of ambition and trying to do something in a little bit different way, like a creativity in a new manner. But I think this is going to be a little bit more external. There's a male figure in your life, and for some reason I see in this one different. This is the male figure is literally, physically, actually carrying you through a moment that's actually being very helpful and positive for you to kind of do something a little bit new or different that you haven't done in the past. And if this hasn't recently happened, it's going to. So the difference here is the travel is physical world travel. This is maybe carrying you through the threshold of something. I don't know. But I'm definitely seeing a different energy on this one with you. It's a person, a male figure. Again, doesn't have to be a physically male person, but it can be somebody with this masculine carry through attribute. I mean, for all I know, depending on the other cards, it could be maybe your best friend who's maybe a female, but she's doing the action of what is considered masculine, which is the carrying of you through a hard time or through something that's going to give you a very uplifting outward exposure afterwards, right? So a new creative thing, that's still a big part of it, but I'm definitely seeing a person here, like a physical person doing the actual carrying. So yeah, we'll see what the other cards say.
Ramp. Angel of Time.
Oh, that's. Gosh, I need that.
Telling you, it's the colors.
I need that deck.
With this card, you need to basically understand things happen in set time, even though it's a man-made construct and it's our form of measurement. Don't rush into it. Allow it to play out, and it will basically happen as it should in the time that it's given. That's basically what this card is talking about. So whatever situation you're working on, don't rush into it. Let it play out. It'll happen as it needs to happen, when it needs to happen.
I just want to point out the visual on that card. I really do feel like if you took the words off, just looking at that, you feel time. Like you feel that. I don't know who the artist is on that deck, but they did something that very few people have done. I'm sorry. I'm gushy a little bit, but that's pretty.
That is beautiful.
That was a very good choice of deck.
Whip out your stick. Direct your energy. Man of Wands. When you have something passionate this week, it's time to direct that energy. No intellect here. It's all about passion and put it through. It's right. It's in your intuition that comes up, and direct that stick and put your energy and focus it on what your passion is.
So grab your baton. Wow. Ziggy, a lot of masculine energy in the read this time around, because Father Time is a Neptune, isn't it? Kronos. And the two wands, both the male court cards and the wands. I don't know if the Man of Wands is the king or the knight in your setting. I know this. I'm pretty sure the sage is the page. In that deck, I'm not sure though. But I just a lot of big stick energy.
Did you say you gifted this to me? I really like this deck.
I'll get you a copy. You can
Did y'all hear him earlier? Did he say he gifted it to me? Can't remember.
You can use any deck that I have except for like one. Steampunk is the only one that's off limits.
Okay.
And maybe my copy of the Divine Masculine, but I have two. And you can't really do the St. Jinx Triple X cards either because I don't want them to get dirty. Saturn, yes, I think you're right, Dragon Dancer. It is Saturn. I don't obviously I don't know those details, but now I'm going to have to look it up because it's time to learn. Krista's next. Krista, I'm glad you stopped in today. Exciting.
feel like I already know what cards might come up for her from my deck, and it's only because it happens to pop up every time, and if it doesn't, I'll be shocked.
Krista. Proud Mary.
Proud Mary, keep on burning. All right.
No. It's not fine. There we go.
All right, Krista, my first card for you is the Chariot.
Ooh.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
That's a cool chariot card.
And back it up a little bit so I can kind of get in there. So you can kind of see. The Chariot is obvious, right? It's movement. It's hard work. It's progressing through and forward with something. And the Chariot, the individual is in control, and they have the power, and they are moving, and they're directing, right? So that means you are moving things along. The one thing about the Chariot that's really important, though, is that there is a goal and that you're in control of that site, but it can also represent becoming stuck in kind of a positive motion. So we'll see again what the other cards say, but when the Chariot comes up, especially as a first card to me, we're thinking there is a positive motion. You know exactly what it is. What you're working on it now. It came immediately to your mind when you saw the Chariot card. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense because I'm doing this. And that is the thing that you're focusing on and that you're moving forward. And just know that you're moving it the right way. You're in control of it. There's more hard work ahead. There's more things that you have to do with it. But it is there, and it is holding on, and it is going in the way that you want it to. And there is a goal that's in sight. There's a success that's ready. You just have to continue putting in that hard work. So this is, the Chariot always comes up for me when somebody is literally on the right track, and you're on the right path to whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's the Chariot.
Krista, shockingly, you got a different card than I had expected.
Ooh.
And I'm glad, because if that card came up, I would have been like, what the hell? But you got Shokma, the right eye of the Tree of Life, which is wisdom. I don't know.
Yeah, Chokma.
This card represents the first, or the beginning of something. Like when a baby first opens its eyes, or when you first start walking down a path, that's what this card represents. This is literally the beginning, the very first steps towards said new journey. And I'm pretty sure I know what that is in regards to what your plans are, but take into consideration everything that's going around you. This is going to be the first moment in that progress towards set path, okay? So whatever you're doing, it's a beginning.
All right. This is actually a really good card for 5 of Wands. So whatever conflict may come up this week, go with your passion, also your intuition. It's a power struggle, but you already know the right answer. You already know the right choice. Tune out all the antagonists, all the people with trying to say they have skin in the game, because you know what's right. You know the right choice. Meditate, take quiet time to yourself, go outside, and remain strong during these conflicting ideas. Tune all the bullshit out.
Tune all that bullshit out.
Look at them. They're all fighting.
Yep.
I love this deck.
Well, you can play with it for a little while. Can't have it. My deck is your deck.
Ooh. Remember that later.
Oh
Just
my.
kidding.
Jesus. All right. I hope that gave you some info, Krista. Our last tarot read for today is Kelvin. Hope you're still hanging in there.
Ooh.
But I will say, I think we're good to do a couple more. If anybody wants one, I know Scarlett. I am glad to see you hopping in here.
Love
But
that.
if you would like a read, just let us know. Or anybody that is still in who hasn't had a read and you'd like one, please let us know. And we'll put you on the list. We are going to read Kelvin next. And I don't know. I'll be honest. I think this has been one of my favorite episodes we've had.
Absolutely, hands down, my favorite. Definitely one of them.
It's been fun. It'll be even better when we have like 40 people on because, everybody's still leaving us. Granted, we might be leaving us soon at some point too. Who knows? Because, we're not tethered here. But when we get this Discord with like 50 people on it, I'll be happier. Okay, maybe not
And I'm
50.
gonna say to Kelvin, I love watching your updates and what you're watching. And when you put up there Buffy and all the different shows, it's just like, oh, it gets me through the work days sometimes.
Aw.
So keep sharing what you're watching, please. It's really nice.
All right, Scarlett, I did add you to the list. So Kelvin, you are up, and I'm not going first this time.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Pull this first.
I'm just happy I can actually shuffle again. My hand is still sore, but I can actually grab the cards and shuffle, which I could not do last week. So it hurts. Where the skin has kind of come off my hand, it hurts, but it's doable.
Oh my.
I have a very weird, not to get completely off topic, but I have a very weird stress reaction physically. I have dyshydrotic eczema, so when I get super stressed out, especially at work, I break out and my skin on my fingers gets hard like brick, and it peels off like leather. It's so disgusting. But it does leave silky smooth skin behind, but it's kind of raw for a little. It's like I literally shed the whole layers of skin. It's weird.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry, Kelvin. All right, somebody go. I gotta reconnect here. It'll take me a minute.
Well, I have a card ready, so I can go. You have Azrael, the Angel of Death.
That's a
This card is very reminiscent to the Death card in traditional tarot, in regards to releasing, letting go, and allowing transition to happen because of upcoming changes and transition in your life. This is also a reminder to allow things to pan out and to happen. Don't force it. It'll happen when it needs to happen. But it's part of the change in the transition. Dude.
Love it.
That's a really cool card.
I was
Okay, I'm getting you literally have someone watching over your week. The protector. You've got, I get from a spiritual nature, not a physical person. You've got your guides, your spirits are watching over you this week. Everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. I love this deck.
But in order to be fine, we've got
Yes.
the Ten of Wands again.
Ooh.
You're still trying to carry too much at one time. It's okay to make 2 trips.
Everyone's been doing this lately.
I know, but this is the energy that we're in right now. Everybody is just trying, you don't have to take all the groceries in one trip. Like, you can literally, you can try, but then you hurt yourself. So attainment, all that stuff's available to you, but this, look again, we came up earlier today, put too much on his back, can still do it, gonna make it, but not necessary. So break it up a little bit if you need to. You don't have to get to the end goal on day 1. Separate it out. Carry half of the bundle if you can. Get it up there, and you will have more than one opportunity. So, but again, Ten of Wands is one of those cards that always comes up to me when people are overextending themselves or being over aggressive with what they're trying to do. Again, I'm also going to repeat myself. Aggression, not as in like, I want to kill you aggression. Aggression as in like I am being over aggressive with my decisions. I'm trying to take on too much. I'm doing too many things. I am carrying too much to the top of the mountain. You can do 2 trips and you won't feel the pain or the pressure. But you got to take that off in order to succeed or to pass to that. So whatever you're working on, it sounds good. It sounds positive. Sounds like it's moving forward, but you need to break it up a little bit and not try to overextend yourself so much. So this is a lesson I'm learning too. Like truly, that's been in my cards a lot lately. Pun intended. Of even literally at the house this morning, I'm working in the garage and I'm not moving all of the things at one time. I move one small thing that I can manage and I moved it, and then I can manage 3 more. But if I try to manage, here's a good example. There's 4 things to move. You try to lift all 4 and move them, you hurt your back, but you didn't get them where they need to go. You try to move 2 things in 2 trips, you don't hurt your back, you get everything moved, and you're fine. So that's the difference there. I mean, I think everybody kind of figured that out on themselves. I don't know why I felt the need to explain that.
There's your bees in the trap. Bees in the trap.
Definitely cut off. So, Kelvin, I hope that gives you a little bit of movement forward, a little bit of insight for the week, or for what the cards have to say. And I didn't see anybody else except I did see Scarlet. So Scarlet, we're going to pull for you. And then, like I said, we left it open. If there's anybody else, this is the last call for a card from the 2 Mystics and the Raven Rook. Is that the new version of Duck, Duck, Goose? Mystic, Mystic, Raven? Mystic, Mystic, Rook? I love it. All right. All right, Scarlet, I just pulled an Ace of Wands for you, my dear. All wands. Did you notice that? I don't think I pulled anything but wands today.
Wow.
Are there other cards in here? No, I pulled a couple cups, I think, maybe. So, Ace of Wands. I absolutely love the aces because they are the thing that like represents like the entirety of the element, but in the raw power form of it, so you can do whatever you want with it. So in many traditional senses, the aces are all about these new beginnings, these new starts, but they're raw, which means that the energy in the new start is a little scary. It's a little bit daunting. It's, you know, like this young man here is reaching to the sky with this new flame. It's a new venture. It's a new thing to begin. Ace of Wands generally represents a very positive fortune too, meaning what you're starting now is very good for you spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, and you just reach to the sky and you take the next step because that's what the ace does. Doesn't necessarily know how it's going to play out, doesn't necessarily know how the action is going to go, but knows that if you put the energy out there, it will bring return to you if you do it in the right way, in a positive way. And so again, this young man is reaching out with his flame and he's saying, hey, I'm taking the leap. I know I'm ready for it. It's ready to go. This new adventure, new beginnings, like Krista said, this is definitely where I'm wanting to go. You know, I'm ready for it, and it's that whole element of fire. It's that whole bring it all up, burn it all up, and send it out there, because if you do that, it's going to bring you back what it is you're looking for. So aces generally for me, I say this way too much. That phrasing is stupid because it's not general. But I often see aces come up when, almost like the Fool in the major arcana, there's a need to use that element. There's a need for you to use fire to take that first leap of faith to make come true what you want to come true. So very positive fortune card too. That means maybe you'll win a few hundred on a scratcher or something.
Hey.
We need to play.
Yeah.
All right.
So I pulled something a bit on the darker side of the deck, and it can basically it's really bouncing off of what Brian was saying. This is Semikiel, the Angel of Vengeance. You want to be careful with what energy you work and how you work it. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. You can wield the sword just fine, but just be aware you are perfectly capable of injuring yourself in the process. Don't let a barbed heart lead your decisions or your actions, because what you send, it's like the reed, what you send forth comes back to thee. So ever mind the law of three. Well, he's worse. So you don't want to mess with that. Just be wary of your decisions, what you're doing, how you're doing it. Don't act impulsively. Kind of go off of what you were saying. There was a mantra that you're working on. Just take it easy and just kind of go with the flow. Don't talk to Semikiel. Don't. No.
No, I like this card. Six of Cups. This immediately brings to mind a memory, which I'll share the meaning of. This guy looks so thrilled to be given a gift, and it tells me to think back, like, on times when things were simpler. For me, my mind came back to when Mystic and I used to just ride around when we worked customer service jobs and get coffee, and it was the best thing and best time ever. To look back, look on innocence, and appreciate that this week. Maybe a fond memory of someone or something when times were simpler. I love his face, and it won't focus.
You can
The
see
one
it. The six.
given the gift, he's just like so giddy to be given this gift.
Yeah.
It's you getting the cards.
It's
And you
awesome.
know, in the cards, the imagery, everything else around it matters too. You're in a space which is private, right? A bedroom is private, partially under the covers but clothed, which means there's no specificness to something that's sexual. This is a true happiness, joyful, in connection card. That is, by the way, the happiness card in traditional tarot, the Six of Cups. That's like it's the smile card.
I get that the gift is the memory. So
Yeah.
So enjoy that this week if it comes up. A memory of simpler times, a memory of things before things were so busy, chaotic. Even though it's a good chaotic, it's a good busy, but sometimes when you look back on simpler times, it brings a smile, maybe some joy.
Yeah. Oh,
Hope that makes sense.
Finn just looked up at me and just went like, "You're so handsome." I can't tell you how handsome this thing is. You are so handsome, Bubba. Yeah. Well, I think that was it. I didn't see anybody else ask for a whatchamacallit, a read. I do want to ask, like, if you guys really like this, I like this setting better. It's easier. It's a little bit less work for me to set
I
up.
really enjoyed this format. This has been like
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah, I think we need to do
Really
it more,
nice.
and not necessarily just like at our computers. We're going to try to find a way to make it work at the table, but I am glad you guys came. I am very excited. Mystic Manny, thank you for coming on with us today. You're welcome anytime.
Oh my God, yeah.
Just, I know it's really early for you when you
I
start.
do
when you
have
start.
another question.
No shit.
Oh, you're-
I have another
Surprise.
question. Known as an easy question, but if you would like to share, Manny, um, where can people find you? I know you're a mystic, Manny, Facebook and YouTube, but is there another other outlets where people can find you, or you would like them to go to?
I do have an Instagram. Anything
Ooh,
on Facebook, it goes mostly onto my Instagram with a couple posts and stuff. It's mystic underscore Manny underscore.
mystic underscore Manny underscore. Ooh, let me go on right now. I gotta
I post
follow.
a lot of random stuff. I cook a lot, so you're gonna get hungry.
Oh hell yeah!
I love it.
My Facebook page has not been as active. I found it easier to
Oh, I got
share on my Facebook, which is connected to the Instagram, and then I've been working with that mostly. I'm actually considering doing more with YouTube because I've actually had a lot of issues when it's come to streaming with like Facebook and stuff. So
Yeah, YouTube is relatively simple compared to a lot of the other platforms. Even Twitch, YouTube seems a little bit simpler overall, but that is awesome. Well, again, I appreciate everybody who stopped in. I'd love to make this longer, even so, but special thank you to you, Manny. Thanks for stopping in.
yeah. Thank
Woo!
you.
We can't do our closing like we normally do because that is on
We've missed
another.
them.
It's on another computer, so I don't have that set up here. So we can't do your favorite part, Rook. So in lieu of the favorite part, bye.
Be safe.
how's
Have
about
a great week.
how's
Deuces.
about marry me, marry part until we marry meet again?
Yeah.
Somewhere to be,
Huh.
blessed be.
Yes.
All right.